Hey, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And today, we have the one and only, the world champion, Mick Mole 2. Woo! Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself. They probably are familiar with you. I know you and I worked together on a bunch of clone videos. So why don't you go ahead and take the moment yourself to introduce yourself on my channel, because people really need to know who you are and what you cover.
Hi guys, my name's McMole2. I've been doing a lot of clone trooper videos. Lately, I've been a lot more prominent because my clones combined with Leia did 6.9 million in Phase 4 of the Rogue AAT raid. So that's been getting me a lot more attention lately. I also like long walks on the beach, just a little known fact there. But yeah, now I'm starting to look at doing more different videos for clones and other characters in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, expanding into other games as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice. I like how you're so humble. Yeah, I got, 6.9 million in the heroic AAT. You gotta be more excited about that, man. I think we were talking. I feel like at least the people who publicly post their stuff on Reddit, YouTube, the forums, I feel like that has to be some sort of world record for Phase 4 of this AAT. Is that right, at least to your knowledge?
I mean, from what I can gather, no one else has been able to hit damage that high. So, I mean, I've got people from like Team Instinct hitting me up, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing with your clones? What kind of cheats and hacks are you using? Tell me more about your secrets."
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like, sorry guys, no cheats and hacks here, just pure awesome and unadulterated skill.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, my droids, I'm lucky if I get like 1.2 million, and I thought for the longest time that's an amazing lineup. But the clones, they're just absolutely spot on for both Phase 2 and Phase 4. And this lineup that we're looking at right now, you also use this for Phase 2 of the AAT. Is that right?
Yeah, and I did 4.6 million with them in Phase 2.
4.6. I would have thought you would get more damage in Phase 2 versus Phase 4. So do you want to quickly explain, before we start getting into your composition, why you think there might be a 2 million damage gap between those two particular phases?
Yeah, so this is a question I began a lot when I posted that video. The main trick is with Phase 2, when you topple the tank and it comes back up, the tank automatically has 100% turn meter. So it loses a turn off of Enrage right off the bat, and it's already at full turn meter again, so it's going to take another turn. So in Phase 2, every time it comes out of topple, it's taking 2 turns off the Enrage meter. But in Phase 4, it doesn't gain 100% turn meter, so you can basically have the tank come back up and topple it again before it takes another turn. So you can potentially get double the topples with Phase 4.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I kind of forgot how Phase 4 is like, because you were in the same guild as me for a while, so you know how the rules are, where once you get to Phase 4, everyone just kind of stops. They allow 24 hours to surpass, so everyone can get at least a 0 in. And I never get to make it for Phase 4, so I completely forgot the mechanics of it. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense, how you're getting a 2 million plus surplus in damage over Phase 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details. You were originally, the gameplay you gave me a long time ago where you got 3.8 million, that was with all clones. You got rid of Rex, and now you put Princess Leia in. So why don't we start off with what was the reason you decided to pull out Rex and toss in Princess Leia?
So the main motivation for Princess Leia is because she has a unique ability where anytime she does a basic attack, she has a 50% chance to gain or to grant crit chance up to all the allies on her team. I'm pulling up on my phone to look at it. But yeah, so yeah, anytime she attacks, what is her ability called? Against all odds, she has a 55% chance to grant all allies critical chance up for 2 turns. So basically, combine that with the Cody Zeta lead, where all clone allies gain 30% crit chance, other allies gain half that. Basically, you can combine Leia's crit chance up with Cody Zeta lead, and all your clones only need to be capped out at 45% to be guaranteed to hit 100% crit chance.
Yeah, it's a small detail that a lot of people overlook. Like even myself, sometimes I overlook the fact trying to calculate that 100% critical chance. But when you're using clones, especially under a Commander Cody lead, I don't know, I might be wrong. You're the professional when it comes to clones, but looking at the critical chance percentage seems to be sort of the key to making this lineup be very successful. Is that true, or would you want to add something on top of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, the main basis is crit chance. I mean, back in the day, before I burst onto the scene with these crazy numbers of clones, people were more going for speed and crit damage with them, and weren't stacking the crit chances high, and I came in with crit chance on my clones off to like 50%, Not really worrying on speed, except for Cody. He's the one I really had to go fast because that meant he just got more 212 attacks out. And yeah, I mean, the first time I did like 1.2 million, wasn't that good. And then like two attempts later, I'd already gotten up to like 2.4 million with my clones. And at that point, that's when people in Team Skunk started to take notice.
Yeah.
And that's when they were asking me like, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? This doesn't make sense. I didn't know clones could do this.
Yeah, it's a very unexpected lineup. Like for the longest time, we thought Rebels and Droids, those were the only two best lineups. And then clones like get 5 times more damage out of them. So the Princess Leia makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's so cool that you kind of hypothesized a way to improve your already amazing lineup. But let's talk about the other guys aside from Princess Leia. We know she has critical chance. She has she's a finger trigger or hair trigger, whatever. So she gets a lot of attacks out. What about let's talk about Commander Cody. I know we talk about him a lot, but why him as the leader? Why not someone else like, I don't know, let's say Rex or someone where he can give a lot of turn meter off of critical hits? Or Princess Leia. So why don't you go ahead and explain why Commander Cody is the better leader?
So the reason that Commander Cody is such a good leader is because of his Zeta ability, where clones, every time they do a basic attack, they regain 5% protection. And that was the reason why they became so viable in Phase 2, was because it meant they could actually survive long enough to get to the enrage for the tank.
Yes.
And like Rex, so Rex, his leadership is all defensive based.
Right.
So I mean, you're not going to get anywhere near the amount of damage that you get, which you would have with a Cody lead.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I was about to say something. Oh yeah. So you already gave Commander Cody to Zeta, right? That's the footage that we showed for the in-depth review a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first Zeta. I was like, man, I love my clone troopers. I have enough Zetas. I mean, who else am I gonna do? I mean, I would like 5s, but I mean, Commander Cody just looks so good.
Yeah. So
and I think at that point, Smithy D had put out that video where he'd showed the 1 million damage with clones in Phase 2, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, a good 1 million Phase 2 team. That seems like a pretty good amount. Little did I know how much they would actually do.
Yeah. So long story short, you don't regret giving Cody his Zeta, is that right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, how is it for Arena? I know that's off topic, but do you find it useful for Arena, or is it strictly just AAT?
They're still not viable in Arena. This is something that we've been talking on the forums in the Clone Players discussion, is they're just not good for Arena. They're just get decimated.
All right, cool. So if you guys are thinking of giving Commander Cody his Zeta, just keep in mind it looks like AAT rate is really the big thing, and it's actually it could be worthwhile, especially if you're in a guild that is having a very difficult time getting past the heroic rate. You might want 1 or 2 people who have Zeta, who have Commander Cody, to give it to him, because it seems like it really helps the team move along. I mean, for your guild, it doesn't help out too much because everyone's able to do it even without the big damage you're putting out. But for those people who are having a struggling time, Commander Cody seems like a person that can really help out your guild if that's one of your guild goals. And moving on from there, though, you gave 5s his Zeta. Was that worth it? And does it have really any significance in the AAT rate outside of Arena?
So yes, his Zeta is very good. The main reason I did it was for Phase 2, where the tank would do his fire shells and throw out those dots and all the clones. So basically, a 5 Zeta is he gains 15% turn meter every time a clone ally takes damage, half that when a non-clone ally takes damage. But what they don't tell you is that the dots, each dot counts as separate damage. So if you have a clone trooper who gets 4 dots, then each dot does damage to that clone, and that means 60% turn meter for 5s. So when you have the tank put out those fire shells and everybody gets dots, it just turns 5s into just this is machine gun that just doesn't stop.
Yeah, it's another.
I mean, he's shooting everyone, he's slowing everyone, he's calling an assist. He just turns into like a one-man army, and it's disgusting.
I know, and plus he just between the counterattacks, the high health, high protection, he's just like a machine gun, especially with that Zeta. So 5s, like if you had to rank him, would he be a higher preference over Commander Cody for a Zeta, or second preference? How would you rank that?
So I would say Cody is one of the best Zetas in the game currently.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just because what it does for your clones and just how viable it makes them for the heroic raid. I mean, Vader Zeta is like #1. That's uncontested. Qui-Gon's a close second. I would say Cody, I'd rank him about 3 or 4. in terms of your top Zetas. Fives, I put him down quite a bit lower.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't have a full clone team, and most people don't because they're just now becoming farmable,
Yeah.
you don't really have much use for his Zeta outside of a clone team. It just doesn't do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting. I almost got Commander Cody to 7 stars. I have Rex to 7 stars. Echo is still a while, and Lieutenant, or Sergeant, he's a while away too. So yeah, once people start getting more clones, that's probably the time to pull the trigger on that. And,
yeah, I mean, I will say, like fives, if you use Rex in your arena as your leader, throw in a 5 Zeta behind him, and you'll get the turn meter from crits from Rex leadership, and then you get the boosted turn meter from everyone taking damage with 5s, and yeah, he quickly becomes another machine gun there as well.
Yeah, that's totally true. And
yeah, I mean, like if Rex takes like a crit hit, that's automatically 30% turn meter for 5s right there.
It's just crazy. The synergy that they have with those Zetas, it really does help the clones out a lot. But yeah, I think like that ranking table you kind of gave, 5s probably isn't your number 1 priority, but he does work great with Commander Cody. All that protection, regeneration, health regeneration really does come in handy. And you're running Echo still in this lineup, right? Well, why wouldn't you pull him out like you did with Rex? What's his purpose in all this?
So actually, it's kind of hard to tell. I would actually say, comparatively, I'd say Echo will probably get the most attacks out of any clone in your team, and that's because of his ability called Follow Up, where he has a 20% chance. I'm having to pull up Echo now on my screen. Let's see, it's 30% chance to assist, dealing 4% less damage. That's doubled if the attacking ally is a clone. So 60% chance to attack to assist anytime a clone attacks. So I mean, he's getting a ton of assists out.
Yeah, and then he gives off turn meter as well, correct? When he
yeah, his basic will give 20% turn meter to any ally who's under. Will give 20% turn meter to a random ally with less than 50% turn meter.
Okay.
So you can combine that with Cody's 2 12th attacks to give a huge boost to Cody, so you can quickly do another 2 12th attack.
Yeah, and I think that especially would come in handy with the clone Sergeant, because he gains turn meter on critical hits as well.
Yeah, he gains 50% turn meter whenever he critically hits, where, I mean, you can easily cap his crit to be 100% chance thanks to his unique. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he'll always be critting, he's always going fast, he hits hard. Oh, like, yeah. You'll see in the raid, like I did 2.5 million damage with him alone.
Who in the world would have thought that the clone Sergeant? I don't think there's a single character out there. I mean, we're talking heroic raid, not normal AAT raid, because you could do a lot of funny stuff in normal. But in the heroic AAT raid, I just feel like clone Sergeant, he is just an absolute monster. 2 million plus damage is just absolutely insane for a character people quickly forget about after their first few weeks in the game.
Yeah, I mean, so this is something that I noticed back with when Heroic Rancor came out. Someone did a clone team with Rex, Rex 5's Echo, Plo Koon, and Sergeant, because Cody wasn't out yet. And I mean, Sergeant did like half the team's damage. They did like 1.4 million with him, and that's when I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, this is someone everybody's gonna be sleeping on. Like, no one's gonna realize. And like, yeah, every time I link damage, I always get at least one comment that says, oh my god, I had no idea Clone Sergeant could do this.
Yeah, it's insane, especially like, I think the thing is, I gave the whole roller coaster analogy. Once he gets that first critical attack off, he's just constantly going, feeding himself turn meter if you properly set up his critical chance. So he just keeps getting that damage out, and he doesn't hit like a weakling. He's not like Magma Trooper where he's called an attacker but hits for 2,000. This guy can hit for like 20,000 plus, so he's not a joke. It's just unfortunate he's a bit hard to farm, so people who are just doing the hard battles, doing no refreshes on the hard battles, might take a while, but he actually might be someone to consider, and he even has a ship, so he's kind of got a dual purpose thing going on. I don't know anything about his ship, but it looks like it's a good one as well.
His ship is pretty good. I'm not gonna get into that now, but yeah, actually in this video you'll notice the Clone Sergeant, his arrow, I meant to put an offense primary arrow on him, and I threw a protection arrow on him instead.
So you probably would have got even more.
I would have easily broken 7 million if I had actually modded out my Clone Sergeant correctly. And I didn't realize it till the next day. I was watching the video and I was going through and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I don't have an offense arrow on him. Like,
I,
what idiot decided to quickly throw mods on his clone sergeant and not even pay attention?
I kind of do. I do the same thing sometimes. I move mods around, and one time I went into arena and I forgot to put the mods back on my Darth Vader. I'm like, why is he not like moving at all? And I just realized he went in with no mods. So yeah, it makes a huge difference. That 5% offense could have definitely made a huge change in your.
Well, yeah, I mean, because usually he's critting for 20k when the tank is toppled,
Yeah.
and he's only maxing out like 18, 19. And like in the back of my mind, I was like, something seems off with his damage. I didn't think about it so much because I'm just watching the health bar on the tank drop, and I'm just like, you know what? I really don't care right now because what I've got going on here is just pure magic.
Yeah.
It's just magical what's going on here. I just don't care right now.
Yeah, and oh yeah, speaking of critical chance, the last thing I want to talk about, I know you brought this to my attention, but isn't there a few times in this video, even though you have your critical chance like to the max, there's times where you don't land a critical hit? Was that in this video?
Yes.
Is that okay? So did you figure out why that happens?
So this is a known bug in the game where apparently there is some kind of stacking issue where crit chance up buffs are not stacking properly with leaderships that give you crit chance. It's a known bug, so I mean, anytime they want to work on that, like with the Tebow stealth bug as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be.
Because yeah, I mean, my clone sergeant, like you'll see in the video, he's got crit chance up, and he's already sitting at 40% native. So with Cody and Leia, and with his unique regains crit chance for living clone allies, he should be well over the 100% crit chance, and he's not getting crits. And I saw that, and that was the proof I needed to know. All right, something's wrong with this. Somehow, crit chance is not stacking properly.
Yeah, I remember you asked me if there was like some sort of base critical chance avoidance, and I'm like, I have no idea, never heard of that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I thought maybe it was like potency, like as everyone knows, even if you have above 100% potency, like Jyn Erso, when she constantly stacks up on potency, the Rancor or whatever, they could still resist. There's that baseline tenacity or resistance, whatever they call it nowadays. But,
yeah.
So cool. I'm glad you figured that out. And yeah, if the developers are listening to this, definitely check it out. I know Tebow has been on the back burner for who knows how long, and I'm not sure if this is up on their top list, but that would be something interesting to check out. I mean, probably not the biggest bug in the world. You still get big damage, but it can be quite annoying because you know the math is there, but you're just not for some reason hitting the critical chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, one of the things that killed it too was because he was not critting. So like the combination of Cody's 212 will automatically, like, if Clone Sergeant crits during that 212, he gains a 3% Terminator. He's basically going to be at 100%. So I can follow up with him doing a basic, then follow up with another 212, and I mean, he's just going and just going. He's like the Energizer Buzzer. Energizer Bunny. He just never stops.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the roller coaster thing. Once you get over that top hill or whatever, it's just it's gonna be a fun ride afterwards. But was there something else that I forgot to mention that you want to talk about this lineup or anything else of that sort?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked about Cody, have we?
We talked a little bit about why you chose him as your leader over someone like Captain Rex. If there's something else we forgot, you go ahead and toss it in. These are just questions I had that maybe other people had, but you might have something else that I forgot.
Well, everybody keeps asking me about mods, so
yes, go ahead. Yeah, please do.
Oh my gosh, everyone keeps asking about mods, and I'm just like, please just watch like the last 3 minutes of the video. I go over their mods. But anyways, so Cody, I max him out on speed as much as possible. I've got a killer set of speed mods that I use on Qui-Gon for my arena since I have him Zeta, and basically it will give at least another 100 speed to Cody. I think he's sitting at 222 speed, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's not that impressive when you compare it to like TIE Fighter Pilot, but I mean, that makes him move fast. The only person I have faster is Leia. Because I have her go first to a basic. Hopefully that gives all my allies the crit chance up, so I can just start roaring out of the gate with all these 212s just constantly.
And is that kind of the same structure you're using for the rest of your characters? It seems like critical chance and speed is the core, but is someone slightly different than what Cody's running?
So I have almost no speed on Sergeant and pretty much the same thing on Echo, because Echo, most of his attacks are coming from his assist, and Sergeant, he gains so much speed from his Terminator anyways, from his crit chances, that there's really no point in having speed on him anyways. I mean, yeah, anytime he crits, he basically gains 50% Terminator. So, I mean, you follow up his basic and a 212 right there, he's already at full Terminator again. So, there's really no need to do speed on Sergeant, which is fine, because, I mean, he's sitting at like 111 speed, he's slow. Echo, yeah, I don't do speed on him because he's assisting so much that I don't have to worry about him having to do a bunch of attacks.
Right.
Fives, I put a little bit of speed on him, but again, thanks to his Zeta, I don't really have to worry about that too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah, that that makes a lot of sense, especially with Echo and Clone Sergeant. If they're gaining turn meter just from their kit and even or counterattacking, yeah, it seems like speed isn't the number one priority for them. They're going to be participating with their kit alone. So I mean, yeah, speed alone isn't the whole story. If someone can feed themselves constant turn meter, that's more than enough to work on something else, like what you say, critical chance and everything else of that sort. And I will be showing, I'm going to go ahead, check out your characters and record the mods, and I'll put it in the video so people can visually see what you are running in case they just want to kind of see the structure, what the final numbers look like for each character. So if you guys want to try to mimic this, feel free to do so. Down below in the video description, you guys just have to check out McMole2's channel. He covers every aspect of clones. He's going to be expanding to other categories. He's breaking records left and right for the AAT raid. Check him out. There will also be links to in-depth clone reviews if you guys want just to learn more about a particular character. So a lot of information in this video, but main story, just check out this dude's channel. He just he knows what's going on in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I've also got the that clone facility write-up I've done for the TeamScope website. So yeah, feel free to link that down below so people can go check that out too.
Yeah, it's just if people who just like to read, there's an article online. I showed this in a video before. He made it. This guy, this is how dedicated he is. If there's someone who's dedicated to the game, it's this guy. He makes articles online, makes videos. So guys, definitely do check him out. If you guys have questions about something we didn't talk about, we talked about a lot, feel free to drop it down below or go ahead and ask McMole2 on one of his videos. He pretty much has the answers to anything. He's the guy to go to for all this. But any final words, McMole2, before we take off here?
Yeah, clones are awesome.
Clones are awesome. There we go. So guys, thank you so much. Please go ahead, check out McMole2 channel for more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content, and like this video so people can see this world record. If someone else beats this record, let us know in the comments because this is huge. And if someone beats this record, I almost guarantee you McMole2 will beat that record already. So guys, thank you so much again, and we'll talk again soon in the next video. Peace out.
Bye guys.